We've seen a lot of massive failures in 2023. One thing that the failures have made stand out are all the successes we've had with movies that have smaller budgets, whether it's something like Five Nights at Freddy's, whether it's just something smaller that maybe Universal's putting out animated wise as compared to Disney's massive $200 million animated movies. It's showing that you can do things with a small budget, and there might not be a better example of that than Godzilla Minus One. Godzilla Minus One, the Japanese movie that just broke records here in the United States for the biggest opening we've ever seen, might not be making massive blockbuster money, but what it is doing is already making its money back. And it's embarrassing big studios like Disney when it comes to how good it looks, how good the effects are on something like this. A $15 million budget on a Godzilla movie where you have something like The Marvels that looks like absolute dog shit for $300 million. And it obviously got rave reviews when it came out. Godzilla Minus One is a giant hit with critics. See it on the biggest screen possible. And then the audience actually agreed with them. 97% tomato meter, 98% audience score, and then breaks a box office record. Now, of course, we're not talking about a $100 million debut. We're talking about $10, $11 million at the U.S. box office. Considering this is a movie that is all in Japanese, that is pretty impressive. We've never seen anything like that before. And really what's making people, look the other way is the budget. The budget is crazy. Godzilla Minus One's budget is so small that fans can't believe it. Godzilla Minus One costs about 1/15 the production budget of the Marvels and is one of the best looking disaster movies I've ever seen. We're absolutely rinsed when it comes to making these kinds of movies. Godzilla Minus One is a $15 million budget. Just take a look at some of the shots here, right? And from people that have seen it, they say that it looks phenomenal. And it's wild that they did this on a budget of $15 million. But this is one of the things that needs to change in Hollywood, right? Obviously, we've talked a lot about it. We've talked about the very heavy-handed messaging that's in a lot of these movies these days. That's obviously one part of the problem. Another part of the problem in the industry in general is the overinflated budgets. When your starting point, when you make a $250, $300 million budget movie and your starting point is it needs to make $900 million just to break even, you have fucked yourself. And that's exactly what's happened. So when you have these movies that see success, actual success, like Godzilla Minus One, which has already made its budget back when you look at internationally and here domestically, stuff like Five Nights at Freddy's, that had a $20-25 million budget, ends up, 10 timesing that and more. Those are the kind of movies that can make you decent money because you're controlled, you have a plan, it's not something that you're wasting a bunch of money frivolously on. And Hollywood is great at fucking wasting money right now. But little successes like this are huge. And I think you're going to see Hollywood be forced to kind of rein back this spending as they have failure after failure. And you can look no further than this movie as a perfect example of what you can do with the budget. Even if it's grand scale, even if shit's blowing up, even if you got a giant monster, even if people are dying, even if it's a big disaster movie, you can still do very creative things and things that are very well received with a micro budget compared to some of the stuff they're doing now. Sound of Freedom is another good example. That was like a $15 million budget, ended up making so much fucking money back. Whereas everything else in Hollywood right now, big budget wise, seems to fail. Only one movie with a budget of over $200 million actually made a profit in Hollywood this year in 2023. One fucking movie. So I think you're going to see a lot more people, hopefully, try to take a page out of the playbook for things like Godzilla Minus One and Five Nights at Freddy's, where not only is it well received by the audience, but actually is capable of making money with a controlled budget.